Brian says, "Hey, Austin and Robert, I just discovered the podcast and I'm loving the transparency and the direct approach y'all provide in your answers to each question. It's very refreshing to hear. I have a question about a Roth IRA. I'm 40 years old and I just started maxing my and my wife's Roths out this year. I've started moving the investments into the ETFs you all talk about, but how many different ETFs should I be putting money into? I see the benefit of having 2 to 3 ETFs in the Roth, but I also see the benefit of having 10 to 12 different ETFs, which could help me guard against big dips in my main ETFs. What do you think is the sweet spot for the number of ETFs that you should have in a Roth IRA? For some additional context, we make $125,000 a year combined. I also have a 403b that's worth about $30,000 with a 4% match from my employer, and I just started adding to my bridge account this year. Brian, first and foremost, congratulations. Welcome to the investor class. We're so excited to have you. Max out that Roth IRA. Keep going with that 403b. You guys are making so much money. You're going to retire multimillionaires. I am so pumped. Thanks for listening to the show. Robert, you want to kick off this question?
I do, and I love this question because I see it every single day when I do the one-on-one consulting calls where people just have way too many products. They have some investment advisor that's telling them you need 23 ETFs and you need all of these and bonds and mutual funds and index funds and whatever it is. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, when you're starting out for that first $100,000, $200,000, I think you need 3 to 5 index funds in these ETFs that we talk about to make sure you have a good blend across all sectors. And then as you get more complex and as you build more wealth, then I think you could get up to that 7, 8, 9, 10. But anything above 10 to me is just unnecessary because you're going to have so much overlap in these funds. And so for me personally, in 2 of my biggest accounts, I just checked with Austin. In one of them, I have 9 funds, and in the other one, I have 7. So that's me. I'm a very advanced investor. I've been doing this for decades, and I only have 9 in one of my biggest accounts. So for me, I think you're on the right track, but keep it simple. Don't get talked to having every little thing because, again, I feel like you're chasing and you don't need to chase. You want to cover all the major sectors so you have diversification without having so much overlap and too many different types.
Right there with you, Robert. Happily pulling up my account right now to read you what I have. So I've got 32% of my retirement here in VGT, which is, the big tech, Mag 7, big technology focus, because I think technology is going to rule the world, especially throughout my lifetime. I've got 22% in VOO. So let's call it over VGT, and VOO is more than half of my retirement here. I've got 7% in VTI. I have 17% in QQQ. I have 7% in SPYI, and I have 15% in IBIT, which is Bitcoin. So of my big basket here, I've got about 15% exposed to Bitcoin, and the other 85% is exposed, with the majority of that being the S&P 500 and a little bit of the NASDAQ, just these big blue chip stocks. So that's 6 ETFs in mine. I think Robert said he had 6, 7, or 8 in his own. 2 or 3 works too, right? VOO, QQQ, and VTI. I mean, there's definitely a world where you can have these awesome index funds and ETFs in your account. You can continue to keep up with the markets, outperform the markets, depending on some of the ETFs that you might include, and give yourself the best chance to retire a millionaire. You're doing everything right, Brian. Great question to ask. And we hope you're able to take some of these ideas and maybe rebalance your own portfolio to your own liking.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's just really good to focus and optimize, but keep it simple. And then you can get more complexity along the way.
Yeah, totally. As you get older and you want to begin to preserve wealth versus grow your wealth, there's definitely a world where you can add some fixed income. There's a world where you can have a little bit less volatility, some dividend focused ETFs and maybe some REITs as well. I totally agree, Robert, but I'm in the phase where I want to grow my wealth. Therefore, I've got so much in VGT. I've got a lot in VOO and QQQ, some Bitcoin, right? Like that's what I'm focused on at a younger age. And I think that's how I'll outperform the markets over time.